What's up, everyone? Good morning to America. Actually, sorry, it's good evening to US. And yeah, in Europe now it's very early. I don't think many people will be there from Europe. Hopefully, some from Asia, Australia, and this more eastern part of the world. And yeah, I decided to go live at this moment. I have some interesting topics I want to share, and everyone is very welcome to join and leave some comments and also share your experiences. Definitely, it will be better if it's related to the topics. And maybe you saw the title. I'm going to talk about the craziest things I did in my career, and I'm going to mention the top three that are on my mind. And I think it's very interesting to talk about these things because it shows how extreme are you able or willing to go in terms of trainings, and that can also show your determination, commitment, and your passion, of course. So hello everyone again, thank you so much for joining. Yes, please feel free to let me know where you are at the moment. How's everything there? I'm very happy and always excited to hear people from all over the world, and we can always have this kind of talks sometimes, and we can even like maybe schedule some time and we can make it more regular. I really enjoy it. I can find some fixed time maybe so we can always have these sessions. It's really interesting to me, and I hope you also guys like it. So we have some people from Israel, from US, from Shanghai. Hello Shanghai. How's everything? Hello Texas. Thank you so much. I really appreciate everyone here joining. So let's jump into the topic. Hello Malaysia. So as I mentioned, I want to tell you the craziest things I did as a junior or at any moment during my career. So the first thing that's on the top of my head, on top of my mind, is one evening I decided to go for a jog, for a run. This was, I believe, I was a teenager. I was a junior. Maybe it's so tough to say, like this period. Everything is kind of blurred, but it was definitely before I went to US, and I think it was way before, probably during my high school years. So I was, I guess, around 15 or 16 years old. And again, I decided to go for a run. I really enjoyed those evenings runnings that I did back then. And I would usually go for like 30, 40 minutes run. Sometimes I would push it maybe to 1 hour. That would be kind of extreme. But that would usually be, after I come back from school, maybe do some homework. And if I'm not able to go for tennis, if there are no courts or I'm not able to get a partner or coach, I would just go for a run. So I would do this, I would say, a couple of times a week on top of all of my tennis trainings and fitness trainings. I think I did like 5 or 6 scheduled fitness sessions per week, and this was always on extra, so these evenings runnings. And then this particular day, I wish I remember the exact date and so I can be a bit more specific, but it doesn't really matter. Anyways, the first difference here was that the time when I went out was after 11 p.m. So I don't know what happened. I got into this crazy motivation mode. Like I was so motivated. Maybe I was waiting for some tournament or something happened that day, and I just got so motivated, so inspired. So it was past 11 p.m. And again, remember at this time I'm like 15 years old, and I definitely need to go to school the next day. Probably have to wake up at 6 a.m. So I decide to go for a run. And back then we didn't have, iPhones. We didn't have this new technologies with everything on the phone. I used a CD player, and it was like this size. It was round, so you open it, you put the CD in, and then you have the headphones there. So I always ran with that. I was holding it in my hand like this, in one hand, and then I would just jog. So I went to this soccer field. It's right next to my tennis club. It's the club where I started to play. It's in Novi Sad, Serbia. And this is where I usually did my fitness sessions. But whenever I would go for this evening jog, I would probably run through the town, through the city, check different streets, and it's much more interesting. But on this day, I went to this soccer field and I just started to run laps around the soccer field, right? And I think so it's not really 400 meters, one lap, but it's more maybe like 350 meters or something. So usually when we do some running there, a little bit longer distance, we do 10 laps, maybe 15, 20 laps will be like a lot. It will be pushing it. It will be like very extreme. So I remember very well, I put a CD of Eminem. This was the time when everybody was going crazy about him. And it was the album where I cannot remember what was the most famous song of that album. I cannot remember, but it's in this like early stage where all the teenagers, we were all going crazy about him, and it was still very inspirational. So yeah, I used this CD from Eminem and I started running. So I started playing from the first song. I think there was like, I don't know, 15 songs on the CD. Each song 4 or 5 minutes. So you do the math. And I started running the laps. Lose Yourself. I'm not sure if maybe Lose Yourself was the next one on the next album. So this was, I cannot remember the names of the songs, but I probably still know all of them. Like one of the songs was Superman and something like this. Say what you say. Okay, I'm not gonna start rapping right now, but anyways, you got the point. His CDs and songs are kind of angry and motivational, and you just become like a beast and you just want to do things. So I started running, and at first I thought, okay, I'm just gonna do like a regular 20 laps maybe. I felt for a bit more running, and then once I did the 20th lap, I felt like I want to keep going. It's like I'm still not happy. I'm not satisfied. I want to do more. And then at that time, let's say 20 laps. Yeah, that was not even 1 hour yet. So I kept running, and maybe when I reached 1 hour of running, I think at that time the CD was finished. I went through all the songs and then I restarted. So I again started from the first song and I kept running. All right. So it was 30 laps. And then I never ran more than this at this soccer field. It's different when you run on the streets or somewhere like in the distance, you don't feel it. But when you run laps around the soccer field, it feels so long. It just feels like it's very tough to go a longer distance because it's always the same and it's very tough to keep going. But somehow I was getting into some crazy mode, and I kept running. And I remember later when I talked to my friend about it, how this crazy run went. And I said, at some point I started panicking. I said, why? I said, because I was becoming a little bit crazy. I was just stuck there. I was stuck in this circle, in this lap, and I was just keep running. I kept running, and I thought I'm never gonna stop. Like I was a bit panicking because it was weird, like so weird. And I kept running, like somebody else was taking my body, and I was just there holding the CD, like breathing, and body was just going by itself, and it was like stuck, and I kept running. So I reached the 40th lap, so 40 laps. I don't know at this time what was the time on the stopwatch, but I was definitely going way through the second time of the city, and then I kept going, and then I kept going, and then again I was like so like almost scared. I didn't know when I will feel to stop, because I didn't feel tired. Like my legs were just flying, and I felt I want to go more. The only limitation was the actual time. It was getting very late. As I said, I went there after 11. I think I was there at 11:20 p.m. So at this time, after this 40th lap, it was well over, or it was approaching like 1 a.m. or after 1 a.m. And then again, I had to wake up at 6. And then I decided, okay, I'm going to keep counting until the lap number 50. So it was very, very crazy, like insane. So I cannot remember the details, but for sure I ran 50 or maybe a couple more, because I'm sure I did some math and I calculated roughly from home to the court how much is it, because I wanted to make it round close to 20 kilometers. But when you run 20K like in the city or in the nature, it's not so bad. But on the laps, like when you run on the soccer field, it's crazy. Anyways, I finished that run after 50 or something laps, and then I ran home, and it was just unbelievable. The feeling was crazy. Like, you know, the body just, even when I stopped, it kind of wanted to keep going. Like the legs were like still wanting to move. I didn't feel tired. I was still so motivated, pumped up. So I went twice through the whole city of Eminem, and yeah, I think it was around 20 kilometers that run. So by far it was the largest distance I ran at that time. Later on, like many years later, which is maybe actually just now a few years ago, I ran a half a marathon, but that's a different story. I just wanted to talk about this one. It was very, very crazy thing to do, crazy experience. So yeah, that's the first thing on top of my mind, and it's related to fitness. So I can check a little bit on some of your comments. You can also tell me what were your craziest things. Let's say now we talk about fitness. What is the toughest workout you did, or something that you would like to share? Maybe you will get motivation for others. Also for me, I want to get inspired as well. Okay, so give me some crazy workouts. I got second out of 30 school in my various. Wow, that's great. Congratulations. I hope that is a success. Shana Masters, and I saw you there. Thank you so much. Well, I mean, I'm happy that you saw me. I got second place. Yeah, I got this. Our academy is the best way to improve. Academies, it's definitely a great way, because you have all these players there. I think that's the most important, to have the players that can push you and pull you. But if you're training on your own, you have your team, and then you travel a lot, play tournaments, and then you train there with different players, I think it's also the way. So academies are great because everything is on one place. Of course, you have good coaches, you have conditioning there, potentially some classes, some school, like online school or whatever. So it's a great way, make it everything simple. But I don't think it's the only way. Yeah, you ask if it's the best way. It's tough to say. I don't think there is a one recipe for, making it. And for serving tips and wow, that's great. Happy to hear that. Our tennis academy is the best for improvers. Seriously considering going to one. Yes, I just explained. I got okay. What rank do you see Nick Kyrgios at the end of the year? Okay, that's a very tough one to estimate, because you know how he's so unpredictable, right? But honestly, I'm not even sure what's his ranking at the moment. But definitely he should be top 10 for something more specific, it's tough to say. How do I become the coolest tennis player in school? You know how, Ian? By actually not trying to be the coolest tennis player. And what does that even mean? Coolest tennis player? I think it's the wrong goal, bro. I think you just have to go for, being the hardest worker and the most dedicated and most passionate and doing all the right things. Don't worry about how others perceive you, because if you say this, that means you're thinking about how others will see you, if you're cool or not, which is also very like subjective. Like, who judges that? I think you should just go for your own thing, not worry about the others. Do you think it's important to have more than one coach? Nope. If we're talking about tennis coaches, of course you should have fitness coach, tennis coach, and maybe somebody else who can talk to you about different things. I should go to college before starting some tennis. It's a very tough question, but I always advise college tennis is a great thing. You can also keep improving and you can get your education. So my experience with college was amazing. So that's always a great way. And thoughts about current next gen players. Okay, we are going a little bit off the subjects. I don't see many of you are really excited about this crazy fitness and trainings. The most I've done running is for an hour, not as insane as yours. That's pretty good. Like 1 hour of non-stop running is still a lot. So good job. But okay, just to be fair, to answer the questions quickly, the current next gen players, I think there are some amazing players out there and potentially will break through very fast. You have this Sinner, Yannick Sinner. I mean, he's going to be like sensation very soon. And all the current players who are now already getting into the top, like Deminar, and you have Shapovalov. Many. I cannot really say now all the names. I saw recently this new, is it Spanish guy, Alcaraz or something, like 16 years old. He beat Ramos Vinolas. So it's amazing. Like, I think there are no rules. It can be a very young player that kind of breaks through, but also lately we had some players in the late 20s who started playing their best tennis. So it's very tough to estimate this. Have you ever played in Grand Slams? No, never. What's your worst injury that you have got? I don't feel to talk about injuries, but I had many times rolled my ankle, especially on the right foot, the right ankle. I had some shoulder serious pain, and I think it was related to nerves. When I did a lot of serving, sometimes I was not able to lift the arm like this, but that's not like very specific injury. So I would say just rolling the ankle, and I guess I was a bit lucky. I want to like knock the wood, so hopefully that stays like that. Where do you currently live? Shanghai, China. 10 UTR good enough to play ITFs? Should I just stick to local? Honestly, I'm not really sure about these numbers with the UTRs. I know that my UTR is around 13. Then Federer and these guys are 16. So it's very tough to say. I think my player, Christian, he's around, I think he's close to 10. And he's playing now ITF. So for sure, I think that should be okay. What was the most amazing thing you ever seen in the world of tennis? Wow, that's a broad question, but it's an interesting one. A most amazing thing in the world of tennis. Wow. Okay. Right. The first thing that came to my mind is when Djokovic beat Nadal. Yeah. When Djokovic beat Nadal in Australian Open final a couple years back, I don't know which year, after 5 hours and 53 minutes. This one I remember exactly. Like almost 6 hours. That just I don't know. I felt so special just to witness that. And after that, he like ripped his shirt. Like literally, he looked like a beast. You know, like surviving this. And I think also the previous match was it against Wawrinka, like 5 sets, also like 5 hours. And then or Murray. Sorry if I'm wrong, but I know it was like two tough matches. And then he just seemed like not human. You know, like surviving this and beating Rafa in this insane match, 6 hours, and then just like showing everybody like he's a beast. Like for me, that's definitely one of the most special moments. Every week I increase in weight for squats. Last I squared. Wow, 320 pounds. That's insane. So that's around 150 kilograms. I think that's unbelievable. Bench reps. You're awesome and keep up. Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Once I did 3 hour and 45-minute agility workout until I physically couldn't run anymore. It was one of the hardest but also most fun things that I ever done. Wow, that's insane. I like this. I like this story. Of course, I never recommend this, but I just want to hear the extremes. So Kellen Clark, we have somebody here, a little bit extreme. I like that. 3 hours and 45 minutes agility workout. That's insane. Respect everybody to Kellen. That's insane. Are you ever going to collab with Top Tennis Training? I would always be happy to do so, and hopefully I can make some more like interactions in the tennis world, and also I would get a bit more mobile, travel more, and in that way I will be able to collab actually, because if I'm here all the time in China, it's a little bit isolated. It's tough. So if I get to Europe or US, it will be much easier because then I can reach many more people. But great question. Of course, that will be very nice. I think this it's a little bit blurry here. I don't know if you see me well. Maybe. Okay. Maybe you can give us some tips on fitness for junior players. How many hours a week, hours a day? Best workouts for every age to focus on. Yeah, that's a very complex question, but it's related to fitness, so I like that. That's what we're talking about. Now, depends what is the age, right? I cannot tell you for all the ages, but how many hours per week, hours per day? Let's say first, weekly. If we're talking about somebody who's getting like very seriously into it, it should be at least 5 days a week. And I'm talking about the age, let's say after like 13, 14 years old and then moving on. So I would say like every work day should be a fitness. But definitely when, the younger you are, you're going to have less like serious fitness trainings and more playful, more fun. Of course, no weights, nothing. You shouldn't do weights until I think age of 15 or 16. So everything like body weight. Hours per day is 1 hour. 1 hour is enough, hour and a half maybe. But I think it's important to keep it consistent and regular and make it functional, right? Make it with a purpose and have a plan. For this, you should definitely have an expert for fitness who can, not just for fitness, but also who is well informed and educated about tennis and how the tennis players should prepare. So somebody expert in fitness, but also for tennis, and they can make the plan. I hope that helps. Can one become a pro without spending too much time on gymming? No problem, but just playing pure tennis. It's a good question. Like almost like I'm laughing because almost sounds like a joke. Absolutely not. Come on, guys. You know that tennis is like 50% is physical. You watch these guys, how much they run, and it's just if you're not doing extreme fitness, you just forget about it. It's purely physical. Of course, at the edge, like once you get higher and higher, the main difference is mental, like how you approach and your mindset. But just to give yourself a chance to play pro, you gotta be a beast. That's must. That's like, if you don't have that, you have no chance. If you have that, if you're super fit, then you can try to go higher, and then you're going to be tested with your mindset. But this is like, it's like bread and butter of professional tennis fitness. The end, period. Do you see what Novak father said about Federer? I don't think I saw it, but kind of I can assume, but you can share it. They have a special diet. Kind of, maybe half. Like, I'm not too strict about it, but I still always think about it and I try to make it healthy. So every day, pretty much, I make the celery juice combined with some other fruits. Depends what I have. So today I had celery, pear, and banana all mixed in this big, big thing for like juicer. And I also had eggs and avocado. So feeling great. And then I try to avoid any like sodas or carbonated drinks, no bread. At least I try as least as possible the fast food, and just try to keep it simple, and grilled meat, salads, something like this. Of course, sometimes I would go for that burger or something, but on average, I just try to take care. Be careful with that. How much can you bench? I have been loving your training videos. Well, not too proud about the weights at the moment. I haven't been regular with that, so this is the only reason. I think this bench press and any other exercise in the gym, you get better by just doing more regular workouts. Even some planning is not so important, but this is not so crucial for tennis. But let's say, I think my record before, I think I benched one time, like once, one lift is 100 kg, 100 kilograms, which is 220 pounds. This is when I think I was injured. Oh yeah, I forgot about this injury. I had this knee problem, so I had to stop playing tennis for a month and a half, and the only thing I did was gym. So then I kind of pushed the bench press. But now I didn't do gym for how long, this coronavirus, because everything is closed. But when I did it maybe a few months back, I would go up to 70 kilograms, but these are the sets of like 8 repetitions, maybe 3 sets, 4 sets. Nothing spectacular. I just kind of keep the shape. Once ran 8 miles because I was having a bad day, so I ran, but like my legs were not tired. That's great. I mean, this is how I felt this day. Chocolate, yeah, like dark chocolate is okay if you don't eat it too much. And of course, I really love the sweets. And my treat, I didn't tell you, I have at least one treat a day, which is I like to sit in a cafe and have a cappuccino and something sweet with that. So it can be some like small piece of dark chocolate or some small cake, but everything always in a balance, never too much. What's up, Steven? Hello. Thanks everyone for joining. I would like to go more in the topics. I really enjoyed all this answering and trying to help, but I would kind of like to stick with the topic, because in that way we can always move in certain direction. Otherwise it becomes a little bit random, even though that's also fun. Maybe some other live sessions we can make it where I'm only focused on you guys and on your questions. But do you teach the slap forehand? Thanks for that. What should junior players focus on? Movement, power, flexibility, endurance. Okay, now we're talking a bit more specific. I like that. Well, I would suggest movement is great, focus, flexibility always, endurance, power. They're all equally important, right? I'm trying to think what was our main focus, because when I did this fitness trainings as a junior, I always followed everything like 100%, and I did some extras, and I can say pretty much I was one of the fittest players, not just in the club or in the city or in the country. So I'm trying to think what was that focus, but I think we did all of that. We worked on endurance, like when you have the schedule planned, like there are some days in a week you're going to do a bit longer distance running, you're going to do interval training, flexibility every single time. After every training you got to do stretching for 10-15 minutes. That's a must. Power came a bit later when you do a bit more weights, as I said, like after like 15 or 16 years old. But before that you can still do a lot of jumps and strength in the legs. So yeah, definitely you gotta take care of everything. Yep, arms are important, but not as much as legs, and some specific movements and motions are that are more tennis specific. You gotta work on that. Current training routine, like, thanks. Current training routine, like, well, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but I'm now posting like every day. I started doing regular fitness because of this whole situation, so I have more time and I have more energy actually, and I really want to get back in good shape. So every day I have a different plan, and it's similar what I just talked about when I answered Anson Hensley about this. What's the best training for juniors? So I would do on one day a bit more endurance, and then I would focus on the leg strength, explosiveness, doing jumps, and then I would do some quickness. So it depends. The current training routine it depends on the day, but always go through the warm-ups, and then it's going to be first either tennis training for 2 or 3 hours, and then I would do fitness, or I would first do fitness. Depends on the time. So each day it's different. Yes, Serbian. Oh my God, so many questions. I cannot follow these guys. I would like to tell you the second craziest thing that's on my mind, and this one is related to tennis training. This one in particular is about serves. So throughout my career, I would just have to do serves every single day, not just when you have a training, then at the end you do some serves warm up, maybe play points. No, I'm talking about extra training. So you have a regular training, 1 hour and a half, 2 hours. You do the drills, basket, you do some points at the end, serves, and then besides that, other part of the day, it can be afternoon or maybe before this one in the morning, I would do 30 minutes to 1 hour only serves. And I remember for some period, like a good block of time, I would do it every single day. Maybe I wouldn't do it like Sunday if I take off, but whenever I have a training, I would do serves. So this is something that I think I did in extreme way. And just by just saying this, I think it's already extreme, and it's a crazy thing. I don't think many players could say this. I was literally obsessed with doing the serves, and it was kind of like, if I don't do it, I would feel bad. Like I would judge myself that I was lazy or I didn't do what I'm supposed to do. So I might not be able to perform on the level that I should if I don't do the serves every day. And this is something that just came natural to me, but also I was influenced by my friend and a very good player that I trained with a lot, almost every day, who also had this kind of mentality, and he was super hardworking player, and he would do this kind of things. He would serve or he would do different things, but regularly. So this is maybe where I also was influenced. And by the way, he also has and had and has amazing serve. So very often we did the serves together, but sometimes I did it on my own. And so that's the crazy thing, right? If you do it every day, like I would say pretty much 1 hour, like when you get there and warm up and when you serve and pick up every time and serve, like 1 hour of serve for years. Like I cannot tell you exactly from which period to which, like every day, but I'm sure there was a good block of years that I did it every single day, which I think is crazy. Now, if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear this next thing. So one day, it was afternoon. I probably had a training in the morning, or maybe after school. If I went to school in the morning, then first I had tennis training, and then after that, I don't know how it was the schedule for that day, but it was like later afternoon, and I started to do serves like any other day. But on that day, I wanted to put those targets. I don't know if you watch some of my videos or clips or Instagram or even on the YouTube. I like to put the tennis ball as a target in the corner. And usually I just put one and then I try to hit it. When I hit it, if I feel to serve more, I would do it. Sometimes I would say, okay, I want to hit today 2 or 3 targets. Sometimes this can last a lot, like for a while. It depends. Sometimes you can hit one ball, very fast. I just remember one more thing I need to tell you. So it's related to serves and some crazy thing that probably nobody would believe. But anyways, on this day afternoon, I go there on the court, like later afternoon, and I place 6 tennis ball targets. So in each corner, plus in the like body positions. So on this side, there are 3 targets, right? And on ad side, 3 targets. Each one is just a tennis ball. And I say, okay, I'm gonna serve today, and I'm gonna hit all these targets. That's it, no matter what, right? And just so you know, very often it happened, and I knew this, like I would go and just put one target and try to hit one ball, and I could not hit one ball for 1 hour. This happened many times. It didn't mean that I served bad. It's just not your day. Like this is the target, and there I have the marks all around the target, like 50 marks, like in radius of, I don't know, 2 feet. It's like when you get really unlucky, but I said on that day, okay, I'm gonna hit those 6 targets. I have time. I finished my homework or whatever, and I want to do it. I feel like, challenging myself. So I started serving, and I served. I don't remember when I hit which target, but it kind of started. Maybe I hit one, I moved on, and then I got stuck maybe on certain target, but I kept serving and serving and serving. And there were many, players already came for training and left home, and then new ones came, and then I noticed it was starting to get dark, and I was just going crazy. Like I just kept serving. I forgot about time. I didn't think about anything else apart from looking at those targets, and I was just in the zone. I just wanted to hit them. Of course, I was always a little bit cautious and worried about the shoulder, because I knew if you overdo it, it's dangerous, right? But still, I could just not stop. And let's say at one point, it's been well over 1 hour, or like 1.5 hours. It's like first time I'm serving for so long, but I kept going. I still have some targets to hit, and I keep going. And I don't remember if they managed to turn on the lights or not, but I clearly remember that I started in the afternoon, right? And then I ended up, it was dark already. So it was getting dark. So, and then I don't know if I was pushed to kind of, stop, but I think I kept going. I remember clearly that I hit all the targets, right? But at the end, I don't know if it was under lights or it was like almost getting complete dark. Maybe it was, they turned on the lights, because at the end, when I hit the last target, then I picked up the balls, then I checked the time, and I've been on the court doing serves for 3.5 hours. So I think this is like very, very extreme, and I don't recommend this to anyone, because I think I had a couple of days like problems with shoulder. It was so inflated, it was like so sore. But in general, this period when I was serving so much, as I mentioned earlier, I had this shoulder problem with some nerves. Like I was not able to lift. Like when I turn like this, then to lift like this, it was very tough. But yeah, it's a story just to be told. I don't know if you can take something good out of it. Maybe that you never give up until you get the job done. But I would also add, like, you should be smart, not overdo it. You can cause some injuries. But that's definitely one of the craziest things. It's like doing the serves for 3.5 hours, not playing tennis or not like doing fitness, doing the serves. So I think not many people in the world could tell this story. So this was just something to mention here. And I respect all of you who actually stopped commenting while I was talking about. Still have some comments I missed, but I would also like to mention now that the one thing that I just realized I forgot in terms of doing something crazy. And then I talked about the serves. So this one day, it was another regular day, and I came to do serves. And this time I just placed one target, right? I didn't have in mind to hit so many. I just start. And I remember it was, I exactly remember the court. It was the farthest court in the club, like near the street where the cars. And I placed the ball on the deuce side, down the tee. This is where I like to start serving in this corner. I don't know why. So it's like down the tee, deuce side. And of course I do a little bit like warm up, the motion without hitting the ball. And then usually the first serve, it's like 40-50%, and I do it with platform stance. And the first serve I do, and I hit the target, the first serve, right? And then like first thought is like, oh come on, it's like that was like lucky, and now I have to go and put it back, and it was not even like a regular serve. So I hit it at the first try. I put it again, right? And I go, and now it's like second serve, I already go for a little bit faster serve, maybe 60%. Don't know if I use the platform stance or not, but so the second serve, and I hit it again. So 2 times in a row, hitting the tennis ball target, it's like the odds are like super small. Like even to hit one ball at the first try, it's like insane. Then the second ball to hit in the very next try, it's like insane, like almost impossible. Like I don't know what's the percentage chances like. And then guess what? Guess what's coming? Like I went, again, put the target back, get that ball that I hit. I came there, and now I already feel like, okay, I feel like pressure now, because I feel like, wow, this never happened before, and now I have the chance to hit it for the third time, which is like, if on any given day or any moment you tell me, okay, hit this target with one ball, it will be like impossible. I know, because sometimes it takes me 1 hour. So here I already hit it twice the first time, and now it's the third time I serve, and then I feel this pressure, but then I think, oh, whatever. I mean, even if I don't hit, of course, like I'm not gonna hit, so whatever. Why I feel pressure? And I hit the serve and I hit the target. Like at that moment, I was like a little bit scared or something. I cannot describe this feeling. Like now I tell you the story, it can sound, I'm sure nobody will believe, but I wish that somebody was there to see it. Of course, at that time I never did any recordings. But this is something that's, I don't know if ever happened on this earth, to hit 3 times in a row tennis ball target. Of course, I tried another one, the fourth one I didn't hit, but I think that was super extreme. I hit the tennis ball target 3 times in a row from the first tries. So it's something to just mention. Okay, I can read a few comments, and then I would like to tell you the last thing that was on my mind, the extreme thing that I did. And so again, if you have any stories of your own, I would really like to read, and I can also talk about it. So something extreme you did in fitness, in your fitness trainings, or in your tennis training. Okay. What do you eat before matches, Liam? Before that, I'm Serbian. Yes. What is the way to hit forehand topspin? A lot of spin and speed. So these are more technical things. I'm not Sure, I can answer these at the moment, guys. These are more for the videos, but top spin and the speed, definitely you first need to start from the ground, from the legs, use the kinetic chain. You gotta use your hips. That's the biggest driver. And then of course you need to have the proper racket leg and the correct finish at the end without pushing the ball. You gotta accelerate, and you need to have a proper grip. If you have very like open grip, like hammer grip, you cannot hit topspin. So it needs to be a little bit more closed. How do you go pro? By living tennis. What do you eat before matches, Liam? Just regular. As I just mentioned, what I eat usual, I'm not gonna change it because I try to eat healthy. So it will be some grilled meat, some salad, maybe some pasta. Not too heavy though. My treat a day is taking a bubble bath with salt. That's nice. Sounds good. How much did you practice to go pro? Every day for 20 years. Do you ever lose motivation? Yes. And this is something normal. I think everybody experiences this. It's not like losing motivation. It's more like getting burned out. If you do all these things so much and so often and every day, it's not so easy. So what I realized, the best thing is, definitely take some time off. Even if for me it was always like, I don't want to take a day off because then I'm missing out. I'm losing some time. I want to train so I can get better. But it's totally opposite. You need that time so you can come back fresh and more motivated, more like hungrier and all this. If you had the best shot attribute from any tennis player of time, who would you pick? Wow. That's a good question, but it's a little bit long. I will try to go fast. Okay. Forehand, Federer. Backhand, Djokovic. Serve, John Isner. Overhead, whatever. Doesn't really matter. Any of those good servers would do. Volleys. Federer is also great. Slice, Federer. Return of serve, Djokovic. Movement, Djokovic. Mental toughness, Djokovic or Nadal maybe. There we go, just on top of my head. Natural strongest teenagers. Okay. Does eating your chicken nuggets improve your tennis ability? What? Chicken nuggets? Is this a joke? All right, I appreciate your answers. All right. Have a good night. Thanks for joining. Do you go to gym even now in China, given the current? Yeah, as I mentioned, everything is closed, so you cannot go, but I do my fitness outside and I try to improvise. So I think today I actually need to do a little bit upper body, but obviously I don't have weights, so I will do just like with body weight. I will go for push-ups, different types. I will find some stairs. I can do some like dips, like where I go down for the triceps. I can find some bar to do pull-ups, maybe improvise some like lighter weights. I can do the shoulders, and definitely core. Do everything outside. In your tennis trainings, do you think playing